Have you ever walked away from a first date feeling like you just completed a really rigid job interview rather than, truly getting to know someone? You know that feeling, right? The car ride home is quiet, but your mind is just buzzing, replaying every single moment. Did I ask the right things? Was I maybe too guarded? Or did I accidentally overshare? Did we even connect beyond the superficial stuff?
Hmm.
It's a strangely universal experience, that whole post-date analysis thing that leaves you wondering if you just sat through an interrogation or maybe conducted one yourself. It often feels like you've been on this mission to extract data rather than actually discover a soul.
That's profoundly true. That job interview feeling, it isn't just a casual observation. It's a common lament, really deeply rooted in how we've kind of been conditioned to approach these initial encounters. We become so fixated on exchanging facts, what you do, where you live, where you went to school, your basic biography, that the conversation can quickly just evolve into this rigid, almost corporate Q&A. And this rapid-fire exchange of bullet points leaves both individuals feeling emotionally drained and, quite ironically, actually more disconnected than before. It's not about unearthing a personality. It's about the mere exchange of information, which, well, fundamentally misses the whole point of dating.
Right.
What most people are truly seeking on a first date is a spark, right? A shared laugh,
Yeah.
maybe a glimpse of genuine human connections, a sense of belonging. They're looking for warmth, not a resume.
And that right there, that is the heart of what we're diving into today. By the end of this deep dive, you'll not only understand why those awkward fact-finding missions often fail, but maybe more importantly, how to transform them. You'll learn to shift from, a test of compatibility to a genuinely exciting exploration of connection. We're going to unpack the art of first date conversations, moving far beyond those tired questions to cultivate real, lasting rapport. We're drawing on some powerful insights into human interaction and the psychology of connection. What if your next first date could feel less like a hurdle and more like, I don't know, an open door? You're listening to Stereo Butterflies. We talk about love, lust, and loneliness like no one's listening. This episode was crafted with the help of AI technology to ensure high-quality insights. So let's pull back the curtain on this a bit more. The real challenge is a first date. It goes far deeper than simply finding something to talk about. There's this intricate emotional tightrope you're walking. On one side, there's that immense desire for things to go well, right? To make a positive impression, to be liked. And on the other side, there's this quiet, insistent fear of oversharing or maybe sounding rehearsed or even worse, hitting that dreaded wall of just uncomfortable silence. It's this complex blend of bubbling hope and gnawing anxiety, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's a real paradox.
You yearn to be authentic, but you also want to be seen in the best possible light, to present the ideal version of yourself. And navigating that delicate balance, that's really the core of the problem. It's not about merely having a conversation, but about steering it naturally, engagingly, and with a true sense of balanced reciprocity.
It's quite striking how universally recognized that job interview feeling is in dating. It signifies a profound miscalibration of purpose. Really, when someone recounts that experience, they're actually articulating a deep lack of emotional engagement and intimacy. It means the conversation felt excessively structured, perhaps unnervingly formal, or, and this is probably the most damaging, entirely one-sided, where one person felt they were just constantly under interrogation.
Yeah, like being grilled.
Exactly. Consider the superficiality. What do you do for work? Where did you go to school? Now, these are perfectly fine as initial warm-ups. But if the dialogue never evolves beyond these, resume-style bullet points, it entirely misses the essence of human connection. People fundamentally crave emotional resonance, a glimpse into the actual person behind the professional facade. They aren't looking to exchange demographic data, they're searching for shared humanity.
Right. They want to know who you are.
Precisely. Imagine sitting across from someone who just methodically runs through your past jobs, your academic history, your meticulously planned 5-year career trajectory. There's absolutely no space left for genuine vulnerability, for spontaneous humor, for the messy, beautiful reality of shared human experience. It just stifles any chance of true connection because it reduces you to like a collection of data points rather than acknowledging you as a complex, multifaceted individual brimming with stories.
That brings up a really critical point. What are some of those common fears and, deeply ingrained misconceptions people carry into these dates? I think we all have these internal scripts, these nagging worries that just play on repeat in our minds. What if we run out of things to talk about? That's probably number one, right? quickly followed by, what if I accidentally overshare or say something too personal and, like, scare them off?
Mm-hmm. The oversharing fear is huge.
Totally. And then, of course, the classic, what if they think I'm utterly weird for asking certain questions or just for being myself?
Hmm.
These anxieties can be truly paralyzing. They make us hold back, censor our natural selves, and ironically, lead directly to that rigid job interview stiffness we're so desperate to avoid. We become so consumed with trying to be perfect that we forget the simple act of being genuinely present and, well, real.
And that, precisely, is where we need to start dismantling those myths. These fears, while they feel very real and valid in the moment, largely stem from a profound misunderstanding of what a first date genuinely is. It's not a high-stakes performance where you have to flawlessly execute some predetermined script or prove your worth to an unseen judge. It's not that at all. Instead, it's an exploration. It's an invitation to curiosity.
An exploration. I like that framing.
Yeah, and thinking about it that way is incredibly empowering. It liberates you, gives you permission to be curious, to embrace a comfortable level of vulnerability, and yes, even to reveal your endearing quirks. When you release that suffocating pressure of perfection, you open yourself up to the possibility of authentic discovery, both about your date and about the unique chemistry you might share. You're not trying to impress, you're simply trying to connect. And that distinction, that fundamental shift in mindset, it changes everything about the experience.
Okay, but let's be brutally honest here. The internet is absolutely saturated with advice, right? Countless blog posts, viral social media reels, all promising these deep questions designed to unlock immediate intimacy. You know the ones I mean. What's your biggest regret? How do you truly define love? Or, the ever-present, where do you honestly see yourself in 5 years? These are often peddled as these miraculous shortcuts to profound connection.
Right, those 36 questions to fall in love type lists. And this raises a crucial question. Why do these well-intentioned, deep questions so often fall completely flat or even feel, well, jarringly intrusive? The fundamental issue, I think, lies in the glaring lack of emotional context. Dropping a loaded question about someone's biggest regret on a first date when you've barely begun to scratch the surface of their personality, it can feel like a direct, unwarranted invasion of privacy.
Yeah, it feels really out of place. Too much too soon.
Exactly. It's akin to trying to force a deep river to form instantly in dry earth. The true objective isn't to force depth, but to gently warm up the dialogue, allowing it to develop naturally, creating organic openings for those truly profound conversations when the time is actually right. Think of it like a gentle stream flowing seamlessly into a deeper, broader river. You begin in the shallower, more comfortable waters, allowing the current of connection to steadily build, naturally guiding you to those profound depths when mutual trust and rapport have been established. Without that gentle, organic warm-up, these questions can feel disorienting, incredibly uncomfortable, and maybe even signal a surprising lack of social awareness.
Okay, so if we're intentionally moving beyond the rigid job interview, beyond the trivial, superficial small talk, and even beyond those forced, often awkward, deep questions, what then do we replace them with? How do we truly become catalysts for genuine, meaningful connection?
This is precisely where we transition from just understanding the problem to providing concrete, actionable solutions that you can implement immediately. The core concept here revolves around what we might call high-value conversation starters. These are not just random questions you pull from a hat. They are strategically crafted prompts designed to genuinely spark compelling stories and offer rich, authentic glimpses into someone's true values, their unique personality, and their inner world, all without ever turning the date into, a formal therapy session.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's hear them.
All right, let's begin with number one. A simple yet surprisingly powerful opener. What's something that made you laugh out loud this week? The subtle power of this question is really insightful. It instantly shifts the tone from a somewhat formal, let's get to know each other interrogation to a more relaxed, shared human experience. Laughter is a universal language, right? And this question taps directly into recent, lighthearted, and often self-deprecating experiences. If they share a story about a funny meme they saw, a silly pet antic, a ridiculous moment at work, or maybe an embarrassing personal blunder, it gives you immediate, unfiltered insight into their sense of humor, what tickles their funny bone, and what brings them genuine joy. And the beauty is you can follow up authentically with things like, oh, I love that. What specifically about that moment really cracked you up? Or did you share that with anyone else? What was their reaction? It's a really low-stakes way to encourage personal revelation and reveal glimpses of their authentic personality.
And it sets a positive tone right away.
Exactly. And psychologically, when someone recounts a moment of genuine laughter, they're not just sharing a fact. They're subtly re-experiencing that positive emotion, and that feeling subconsciously becomes linked to you, the person who prompted it. It's a quick, powerful shortcut to warmth and connection.
Okay, good one. What's next?
Next, consider a classic that opens up a world of imagination. If you could drop everything and travel tomorrow, where would you go? This question is incredibly powerful because travel fantasies are inherently engaging and revealing. It's not just about a destination. It implicitly reveals core values and underlying desires. Someone might instantly say a quiet, secluded cabin in the mountains, which often signals a desire for deep relaxation, solitude, connection with nature.
Or maybe something really adventurous.
Right. Another might enthusiastically declare trekking through the remote wilds of Patagonia, revealing an adventurous, perhaps challenge-seeking spirit. Someone else might choose Florence, Italy, to immerse myself in Renaissance art and history, indicating a profound love for culture, beauty, intellectual stimulation. This question easily and naturally leads to organic follow-up questions. Have you ever been there? Or is it a lifelong dream? Or what's your favorite trip you've taken so far and what made it so special? It effortlessly moves beyond the simple question into a rich, imaginative space where dreams and values reside.
That one definitely feels less like an interview question.
For sure. Then there's a deceptively simple one that offers immense insight. What's your idea of a perfect weekend? This might seem straightforward, but it's an often underrated, yet absolutely crucial aspect of compatibility. It helps you understand how your date genuinely spends their precious free time, their innate rhythm of life, and what truly recharges their battery. If their perfect weekend involves intense hiking and rough camping, and yours is more about binge-watching documentaries with a gourmet popcorn machine, well, it's certainly not an immediate deal breaker, but it provides invaluable information about potential shared activities or maybe complementary lifestyles. It could be anything from a lazy morning with endless coffee and a captivating book to volunteering at an animal shelter or hitting the local farmer's market and experimenting with a new recipe. Each answer paints a vivid picture of their priorities, their energy levels, and what genuinely brings them peace or excitement.
I like that. It's practical but revealing. Okay, number 4.
A truly delightful and universally appealing prompt is, tell me about a hidden talent or passion you have. The brilliance of this question lies in its universal appeal. Everyone, and I mean everyone, possesses something they're secretly exceptional at or deeply privately passionate about, even if they rarely articulate it aloud. This question taps directly into that internal pride, that wellspring of quiet enthusiasm. When someone talks about their hidden talent, whether it's playing an obscure musical instrument, mastering sourdough baking, collecting vintage comics, or even something unique like organizing their closet by color and fabric type, you often see a genuine light ignite in their eyes.
Yeah, people love talking about things they're good at or passionate about.
Exactly. Their voice takes on a different tone, filled with a quiet joy. It immediately creates a sense of delightful curiosity and offers an invitation for them to truly shine, to reveal a part of themselves they love, and for you to be genuinely intrigued.
Okay, hidden talents. Got it. What else?
Another wonderfully insightful prompt is, what's a random fact you recently learned that completely blew your mind? You would be absolutely surprised how many people are walking around with a fascinating, often quirky nugget of information tucked away in their minds. This question almost always leads to wonderful rabbit hole conversations that spiral in unexpected directions. It reveals how someone processes information, what captures their attention, and how they intellectually engage with the world around them. Do they love science, history, obscure pop culture trivia? For instance, someone might share that honey never spoils, which can effortlessly lead to a conversation about ancient Egypt or natural foods, or that octopuses have 3 hearts, which could spiral into a discussion about marine biology. It's a playful, low-pressure way to discover their intellectual curiosities and engage in a truly unique, memorable back and forth.
That sounds fun, actually. Less pressure than asking about their job history.
Way less pressure. Okay, number 6. For a touch of warmth and instant bonding, try. What kind of things did you love as a kid that you still genuinely enjoy now? Nostalgia is an incredibly powerful and often underestimated bonding agent. This question frequently leads to genuinely heartwarming moments, shared laughter, and often immediate relatability. You might discover a mutual, enduring love for a classic Saturday morning cartoon, a particular type of sugary cereal, or a childhood hobby that has subtly endured into adulthood. Someone might talk about still loving to build intricate Lego structures or rewatching their favorite animated movies for comfort. These shared memories or enduring simple pleasures create an immediate low-pressure sense of connection, tapping into a joyful innocence.
Ah, I like that one. Connects to the inner child.
Exactly. And finally, number 7, consider a prompt that invites expansive thought and deep aspiration. If money and time weren't an issue, what would you be doing right now? This imaginative prompt is both incredibly insightful and inherently fun. It cuts through the everyday realities, the pressures of responsibility, and reveals core passions, deeply held dreams, or even alternative life paths they might fantasize about. Would they be sailing around the world, starting a nonprofit, writing that novel?
Or becoming a professional cat cuddler.
Huh? Maybe. It helps you understand their deepest aspirations and what truly motivates them beyond the daily grind. It's a question that invites big dreams, encourages playful fantasy, and offers a clear window into their unburdened spirit.
Okay, those are 7 really solid starting points. But what's absolutely crucial to remember about these, and really any questions you ask, is that they are intended to be flexible springboards, right? Not some rigid checklist to be mechanically rattled through. The objective isn't to conduct an interrogation, but to encourage a natural, organic conversational flow, allowing one answer to genuinely and effortlessly lead to the next. It's far more about the beautiful journey of discovery than about arriving at some predetermined conversational destination.
Precisely. That's perfectly put. The most fulfilling first-date conversations feel like an improvisational dance, flowing organically rather than adhering to a structured Q&A. These open-ended prompts, by their very nature, invite reflection, shared laughter, and the unfolding of genuine connection. It's remarkable how seemingly simple or lighthearted topics can unlock unexpected emotional depth and revealing insights.
So, thinking about those slightly deeper topics, how can we gently tap into someone's past, into those formative experiences, without ever being intrusive or making them feel, exposed, childhood memories, nostalgia, shared experiences from growing up? These seem like incredibly rich and fertile territory, but maybe a bit tricky.
They absolutely are rich territory, and you're right, they need a gentle touch. Discussing lighthearted school memories, a favorite childhood game, or perhaps a funny family vacation ritual can effortlessly lead to authentic storytelling without ever feeling like you're prying into sensitive family dynamics or deep-seated issues. The beauty here is that these topics often activate positive emotional memories in a very comforting, low-pressure way. For instance, you could share a brief, relatable anecdote about your own childhood. Something like, I remember always trying to sneak extra cookies from my grandma's jar. Did you have any mischievous childhood habits or go-to hiding spot?
Oh, okay. Leading with a little bit of your own vulnerability.
Exactly. That personal, light touch opens the door for them to share their own, often funny or endearing stories without feeling forced or overly exposed. It invites connection through shared humanity, through the universal experience of growing up.
Food. Okay, let's talk food. It's such an incredibly universal language, a cornerstone of culture and comfort, isn't it?
It truly is. Asking about someone's favorite comfort meal or their go-to dessert is casual, yet surprisingly meaningful. It's a topic everyone can relate to, and it naturally leads to engaging discussions about cooking preferences, favorite restaurants, or even quirky food habits like, I confess, I eat pizza with a fork. See, and this raises an important question. What nuanced insights can you really gain from such seemingly simple topics? Well, someone's favorite comfort food might subtly reveal a deep connection to their heritage, their family, or a specific cherished moment in time. Their go-to restaurant might hint at their social preferences, cozy spots versus bustling atmospheres, or their adventurousness with new cuisines. It's a delightful, low-stakes way to explore someone's world, their palate, and even their emotional landscape through something as fundamental as what they enjoy eating.
Okay, that makes sense. And how do we tap into someone's softer, more empathetic, maybe more nurturing side without asking directly about their deepest feelings, which can feel a bit much for date one?
Yeah, good question. You do it by talking about the things people care for most deeply. Discussing a beloved pet, whether it's a dog, a cat, a hamster, or even a notoriously struggling houseplant, or maybe a dream pet they aspire to have, can reveal significant emotional depth, empathy, and even practical lifestyle choices. Someone who meticulously cares for a fussy orchid might display a patient, nurturing personality. Someone who talks about their rescue dog with immense love and tenderness often demonstrates a profoundly compassionate heart. These conversations frequently bring out a tender, genuine side that can be incredibly endearing and deeply revealing, showing you their capacity for love and care.
Pets and plants, got it. Okay, what about the classic where are you from? It so often just falls flat, leading to a dry, one-word answer. How can we elevate it beyond just a geographical fact to something more meaningful?
Ah, yes. This is a perfect example of how reframing a question can completely transform a conversation. Instead of the blunt, "Where are you from?" try asking something like, "What was it like growing up where you did?"
Oh, okay. More open-ended.
Exactly. This immediately creates space for captivating origin stories, for reflections on local traditions, and for how those early experiences subtly shaped their values, their worldview, and the person they've become. All without diving into heavy family history or sensitive topics they might not be ready to share yet. It allows for rich, personal reflection and a vibrant narrative rather than just a dry, factual answer. They might talk about a quaint small-town parade, a unique local dialect, or a specific landmark that held special meaning, giving you a much richer, more textured understanding of their background and the foundations of their identity.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting, or rather where it potentially gets really uncomfortable if you're not careful. We've covered a lot about what to talk about, but what about the conversational landmines? What topics should we absolutely steer clear of, especially on a first date, if we don't want to, kill the vibe?
Right, this section is critical, and these no-go zones are consistently cited as the quickest ways to derail a promising connection in countless dating forums and real-life anecdotes. These are the conversational landmines that can instantly, well, kill the vibe, as you said.
Okay, hit me. What's number one?
First and foremost, avoiding the X talk and other emotional landmines. The consensus on this is almost universal. Nothing, and I mean nothing, kills conversational momentum faster than bringing up an X, unless you are specifically asked in a very controlled, almost clinical context, which, frankly, is rare and often ill-advised on a first date.
Yeah, that feels like a hard rule.
It really should be. The same principle applies to detailed heartbreak stories, messy past relationships, or any kind of unresolved emotional baggage. Introducing these topics instantly shifts the tone from light and curious to heavy, potentially negative, and honestly, quite uncomfortable. It can prematurely suggest that you might not be fully over a past relationship, or that you're inadvertently seeking a therapist rather than a potential partner. It just immediately erects a wall between you and the developing connection, signaling a lack of present focus.
Makes sense. Okay, what else is on the no-go list?
Then there's the no-go list. Politics, finances, and future babies. Yeah, you might be thinking, but these are incredibly important topics eventually. Why not on date one?
Yeah, exactly. Aren't they core compatibility things?
They are, eventually. But the answer boils down to critical timing and that foundational trust we talked about. These are deeply personal, often emotionally charged, and potentially highly divisive topics. Unless there's an immediate, obvious, and mutual alignment, say you met volunteering for the same cause or you both work in finance and it naturally comes up, bringing them up too soon can create unnecessary tension, awkwardness, or even outright conflict. You simply don't know enough about the person yet to navigate potential disagreements gracefully or with the necessary emotional intelligence. It can prematurely stifle any developing connection. Your primary goal is to find common ground first, not to draw battle lines or engage in a debate right away.
Okay, timing is key. What about humor? Humor's good, right?
Humor is fantastic. It's an incredible tool for building connection and rapport, but there's an incredibly delicate line on a first date. So next is, when humor goes too far, jokes that don't belong on first dates. While self-deprecating humor can be charming and highly relatable, constant sarcasm, dark jokes, or off-color humor are inherently risky early on. You simply don't know your date's sensitivities, their personal background, or their boundaries yet. The objective initially is to match your date's tone and keep humor light, inclusive, and broadly appealing. If you aim for an edgy joke and they visibly flinch or look uncomfortable, you've instantly created a barrier that's difficult to overcome. It's about building a foundation of comfort and safety first, not pushing conversational boundaries right out of the gate.
Right, read the room. Okay, one more.
Yes. Finally, the TMI warning, sharing too much too soon. TMI meaning too much information. This is about understanding the crucial boundary for emotional honesty and vulnerability on a first date. Deep traumas, the intricate details of current therapy sessions or ongoing family conflict stories are absolutely reserved for much later stages of connection when a strong foundation of trust and rapport has been firmly established.
So be honest, but not too honest.
Kind of. While emotional honesty is vital for a healthy relationship eventually, timing is everything. The practical rule of thumb here is share personal insights, offer glimpses of your inner world, but never unload personal burdens. You are there to get to know each other in a light, engaging way, not to seek emotional labor or dump your unresolved emotional baggage. It creates an uncomfortable power dynamic and can overwhelm someone who barely knows you, leaving them feeling more like a therapist than a date.
Okay, that's a really clear set of boundaries. It becomes incredibly clear that it's not just what you ask, but profoundly how you engage. This is where the true art of conversation, the delicate dance, really comes into play. It truly is a dynamic back and forth, isn't it?
It absolutely is a dance, and it beautifully highlights the inherent power dynamics in any conversation, alongside the critical, often undervalued role of active listening.
I often hear that listening is more attractive than talking, and frankly, I think it's true. It sounds deceptively simple, but how do we genuinely practice it? How do we become truly good listeners?
The practice of genuine curiosity is what truly sets effective listeners apart. It's about being fully, deeply present in the moment. Simple, open-ended follow-ups like, why is that important to you? Or how does that experience shape you? Or tell me more about how that happened. Demonstrate that you're not just patiently waiting for your turn to speak.
Right, not just reloading your next question.
Exactly. Instead, you're truly listening, engaged, and invested in what they're sharing. This actively prevents the dreaded monologue trap, where one person unwittingly dominates the entire conversation. For instance, if your date mentions they love hiking, instead of just a generic, oh, me too, try asking, what is it specifically about hiking that you find so fulfilling? Is it the physical challenge, the scenery, the solitude? This approach transforms a simple answer into a much deeper, more revealing dialogue, showing them you care about their internal world, their motivations, not just their activities. It makes them feel seen, heard, and deeply valued, which is an incredibly attractive quality.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, but it's a delicate, almost acrobatic balance, isn't it? How do you authentically reveal yourself without overwhelming your date by dumping too much information? We just talked about the TMI warning.
Yeah, it's a fine line. It's all about offering curated glimpses and intriguing insights. Rather than a full autobiography or an unfiltered emotional baggage dump, you can share your exciting weekend plans, talk about a current favorite podcast you're hooked on, or recount a funny, relatable recent fail. These are light, digestible, and highly relatable disclosures that invite a reciprocal sharing without making your date feel overwhelmed or burdened. For example, instead of recounting a detailed, dramatic story about a past professional failure, you might simply say, I recently tried to bake this fancy cake, and let's just say it looked more like a science experiment gone wrong. But hey, it was edible.
Relatable.
Right. This showcases your personality, your ability to laugh at yourself, and a healthy dose of vulnerability, all without becoming a burden. It creates space for shared laughter and connection.
It's easy to get carried away sometimes, though, especially when you're nervous or excited. How can you tell if you're unknowingly dominating the conversation? And more importantly, how do you gracefully pull back and re-engage?
It's surprisingly easy to fall into monologue mode, especially when you're feeling nervous or particularly enthusiastic about something. A simple mental check-in rule is this. If you realize you've been speaking for more than, say, 2 minutes straight without a pause for their input, it's almost certainly time to re-engage your date.
Okay, the 2-minute rule.
Yes, something like that. A gentle, what about your experience with that? Or have you had a similar situation happen? Or even just, what are your thoughts on that? Can subtly but powerfully bring the balance back. You're explicitly inviting them back into the conversation, signaling that this is a shared space, a dialogue, not a lecture. It's a subtle yet incredibly powerful way to reset the conversational rhythm and ensure reciprocity.
There's often this unspoken pressure on a first date to uncover everything, all the important details, all the potential deal breakers, but is it truly okay not to ask every single question that pops into your head? Like, can you leave some stones unturned?
It's more than okay. It's absolutely essential for fostering genuine connection. People deeply appreciate curiosity, but they equally value comfort and respect for their boundaries. If a topic feels inherently sensitive, like deep family dynamics, specific religious beliefs, past traumas, mental health struggles, it is crucial to let your date lead. If they choose to share, listen with utmost respect, empathy, and non-judgment. If they don't, or if they offer a brief, closed-off answer, respect that unspoken boundary and pivot gracefully. This approach builds crucial trust and demonstrates that you are attuned to their comfort levels, which is infinitely more important on a first date than extracting every piece of personal information. It shows you value them as an individual with boundaries, not just a data source.
Okay, respecting boundaries builds trust. That's key.
Absolutely. And beyond traditional direct questions, some of the most memorable and revealing prompts don't sound like interview questions at all. They're imaginative scenarios, playful hypotheticals, or creative prompts that immediately create a sense of we, a shared imaginative space, rather than just a dry me and you exchange.
Ooh, okay. Like what? Give me some examples.
Okay, consider the classic two truths and a lie. This isn't just a simple game. It's a playful, engaging way to instantly break the ice and inject some genuine fun and lightheartedness. It invariably leads to unexpected laughs, genuine surprise, and subtly tests how observant or maybe how delightfully mischievous someone is. For example, you might offer, okay, two truths and a lie about me. I once won a hot dog eating contest, I can speak conversational Klingon, and I secretly collect novelty salt and pepper shakers. Their attempt to guess the lie reveals their deductive skills, their sense of humor, and immediately opens up three potential new conversation threads.
Okay, that's definitely playful.
Right. Then there are, what would you do if? Hypothetical scenarios that reveal personality in a fascinating, often surprising way. Try something imaginative and low pressure like, what would you do if you woke up tomorrow and could suddenly talk to squirrels for one day? Or, if you had to live inside any movie universe, which one would it be and why? These prompts cleverly bypass direct self-disclosure and instead invite creative thinking, showing you their values, their sense of humor, their adventurous spirit. One person might talk about asking the squirrels for gossip, another about the magic of Harry Potter's world.
Fun. What else?
Another excellent and revealing prompt is, if you had to teach a class on one thing. This question powerfully brings out passion, expertise, and a surprising level of self-awareness in unexpected ways. It doesn't have to be academic or formal at all, whether it's how to master Excel shortcuts, the perfect technique for parallel parking, or the subtle art of finding the best memes. It speaks volumes about a person's expertise, what they genuinely enjoy sharing, and what skills or knowledge they value. It allows them to speak from a place of competence and genuine enthusiasm.
I like that lets them shine a bit.
Exactly. And finally, a truly empathetic and quietly powerful one. What's something you're proud of but rarely talk about? This allows people to open up in a safe, empowering way. It's emotional, yes, but not heavy, because its focus is firmly on achievement, resilience, or an act of quiet self-worth, rather than past pain or regret. It could be something profoundly quiet, like overcoming a specific fear, mastering a complex craft over years, or being an incredibly loyal friend during a tough time. This question invites a beautiful, often vulnerable moment of sharing that builds genuine, intimate connection by affirming their strengths and values.
Wow, those are great. They feel much more about discovery than interrogation. But, we all hope for that effortless, movie-like connection, don't we? But let's be realistic. Not every date clicks. Even with the best preparation and the most thoughtful questions, there will undoubtedly be times when the vibe is just off. How do you navigate that gracefully? And crucially, how do you ensure you're being inclusive of all communication styles?
That's a really important point. It's paramount to be exquisitely attuned to the subtle, nonverbal signals your date is sending. Are they nodding politely while their eyes subtly dart around the room? Maybe checking their watch.
Yeah, the classic signs of disengagement.
Right. Or are they checking their phone frequently? Or conversely, are they leaning in, making consistent eye contact, and actively engaging with their body language? These are critical cues that indicate you might be talking too much, not enough, or that the conversation isn't quite landing with them. Simultaneously, you need to self-assess. Are you primarily asking questions, or are you mostly just answering them? A truly healthy conversation should possess a natural rhythm of give and take, like a shared breath.
Okay, so pay attention to cues. But what if it's really obvious? Like, it can be incredibly frustrating, even deflating, when you feel like you're carrying the entire conversational load and your date just isn't reciprocating by asking questions back. What's the move then? Do you just give up?
Not necessarily right away. If the conversation starts to feel noticeably one-sided, you can attempt a gentle, playful nudge to explicitly invite them to participate more actively. Something lighthearted, like, okay, my turn to be grilled. What's something you're curious about me? Or, you've heard a lot about my terrible cake attempt. What about your week? The subtle brilliance here is that this puts the conversational ball firmly and politely in their court. If they respond positively, showing genuine curiosity, then fantastic. Maybe they were just shy or nervous.
Okay, so give them a chance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If, however, there's still no positive response, or if they offer a vague, disinterested, or dismissive answer, well, that might be a subtle but clear hint that it's time to gracefully start winding down the date. You've extended an opening, and if it's not reciprocated, it might simply not be the right match for a deeper connection, and that's perfectly okay. And what if a particular topic feels stale, or worse, if it inadvertently veers into an uncomfortable, tense, or maybe even inappropriate area. You need to know how to pivot smoothly without creating further awkwardness.
Yeah, how do you do that gracefully?
A highly effective technique is to explicitly signal a clear topic shift. You can use phrases like, wow, that's a wild story. Okay, completely unrelated, but have you tried that new coffee shop downtown? Or, that's a heavy thought on a much lighter note. Did you catch that game last night? Ugh. This clear linguistic signal indicates a distinct topic change and allows you to smoothly transition to something lighter, more engaging, or more appropriate for a first encounter. It allows you to gently take control of the conversational direction with grace and respect. That's a good tip. Explicitly signal this shift. And knowing precisely when to wrap up a date is an incredibly underrated skill. It's crucial to emphasize trusting your gut instincts. If the energy in the conversation dips noticeably, if both of you find yourselves subtly glancing around the room, or if you both start checking the time more frequently, it's perfectly acceptable and often advisable to end things early and politely. A simple, sincere, well, thanks so much for the evening, I truly enjoyed talking with you, keeps things respectful, avoids dragging out a waning connection, and leaves a positive, albeit brief, final impression. It's about honoring the time and emotional energy of both individuals involved, demonstrating self-awareness and respect.
Trust your gut and end it politely. Got it. Now, it's vital to acknowledge that this isn't a one-size-fits-all instruction manual, right? People come from incredibly diverse backgrounds with a vast spectrum of experiences, communication styles, and comfort levels. So how do aspects like gender, culture, and maybe neurodiversity subtly but profoundly play into first date conversations?
That's such an important layer to add. It's incredibly insightful to consider how much communication expectations can differ, and why empathy is absolutely paramount here. Some cultures instinctively value directness and explicit communication, while others prioritize subtlety, indirectness, and reading between the lines. Similarly, some individuals are naturally very open, share easily, and are comfortable with immediate vulnerability, while others warm up much more slowly, preferring to build trust gradually over time. The key is to try and meet someone halfway, to be exquisitely attuned to their unique communication style and comfort level. Adapting your approach with sensitivity and respect can make all the difference in fostering genuine connection.
So being adaptable is key. What about specific tips, say for introverts or neurodivergent folks or just people who get really socially anxious on dates?
Yeah, for introverts, neurodivergent daters, or individuals experiencing social anxiety, the inherent pressure of a first date can feel absolutely immense, almost suffocating. It's critically important to reassure listeners that you absolutely don't need to be the loudest, most charismatic, or wittiest person in the room to be genuinely engaging and appealing. Instead, focus on creating an environment that feels comfortable and safe for you. Perhaps suggest a quieter, more intimate setting for a date, like a cozy cafe instead of a noisy bar. Or consider a shared activity where conversation can flow more naturally and less intensely, like visiting a museum, an art gallery, or taking a relaxed walk in a park.
Less pressure to just talk constantly.
Exactly. And encouraging them, or you, if this applies, to prepare maybe just a few open-ended questions they genuinely care about. Topics that genuinely spark their own interest can provide a comforting sense of security and a valuable conversational anchor without making them feel overly scripted or inauthentic.
And what about just being inclusive and respectful in how we ask questions without losing our own personality?
It's all about thoughtful, empathetic phrasing. For instance, instead of the potentially assumptive or even intrusive, do you have siblings? Which might be incredibly difficult for someone who doesn't, or has lost family, or has complex family dynamics.
Right, it could be a painful question.
It could be. So instead, try the more open-ended and gentle. Do you enjoy spending time with family? Or what do your holidays usually look like? This phrasing allows ample space for varied responses, respects their personal landscape, and conveys a genuine interest without presuming their lived experience. It's a small linguistic shift that creates a much more welcoming, inclusive, and emotionally safe conversational environment for everyone involved.
That makes a huge difference. Okay, as we gently bring this deep dive to a close, let's maybe try to transcend the individual tips and consider the overarching philosophy that truly underpins meaningful connection. We began this journey acknowledging the dread of the job interview date, and now we've journeyed towards something far more liberating and exciting, the profound art of discovery.
That is precisely the core philosophy we want you to fully internalize. First dates, at their very essence, are a fun discovery, not a high-stakes test or an impromptu therapy session. They are, at their heart, a profound and joyful invitation. An invitation to explore the intricate landscape of someone's mind, to delight in uncovering their unique quirks, to delve into their cherished memories, and to genuinely understand their distinctive outlook on life. It's about slowly, respectfully, and playfully unraveling the rich, complex tapestry of another human being. It's an adventure, really.
An adventure. I like that. And while having a toolbox of great questions is undoubtedly a powerful start, how you use them, the nuance, the inherent art of the conversation matters just as much, if not more.
Absolutely. Let's delve into some final nuanced approaches that can transform even simple conversation starters into truly memorable and deeply connecting exchanges.
Okay, let's refine the art.
First, ask with genuine curiosity, not with rigid expectation. When you pose a question like, "What's your perfect weekend?" Be truly open to any answer they offer. Don't immediately jump to judging if it perfectly matches your own ideal. Instead, listen deeply for the why behind their response. Perhaps they crave quiet mornings because their work week is relentlessly chaotic. Perhaps they yearn for spontaneity because their job is intensely routine. The answer itself is merely the tip of the iceberg. The underlying meaning, the deeper motivations, the unmet needs, that's where the true spark of connection ignites.
Listen for the why. Got it.
Second, match their energy without ever copying it. Great conversation is indeed like an intimate dance. Synchronicity and rhythm matter far more than rigid, pre-planned choreography. If your date is naturally expressive and lively, respond with warmth and engaged enthusiasm, but don't feel the need to overtly overmatch them with forced exuberance. Conversely, if they are more reserved or quiet, maintain a gentle warmth and present attentiveness, but avoid going overboard with high-energy storytelling that might overwhelm them. Find their unique rhythm and subtly move with them.
Like dancing, okay.
Third, embrace playfulness without losing potential depth. A question that might initially sound delightfully silly, like, "Which animated character do you most relate to and why?" Can surprisingly and often profoundly reveal someone's core values, their authentic sense of humor, and even deeply ingrained childhood influences or coping mechanisms. Sometimes, the lightest questions open the deepest doors because they disarm people and invite genuine authenticity.
Don't underestimate the silly questions.
Never. Fourth, actively create we moments, not just a series of me and you exchanges. Consciously look for opportunities to connect your answer with theirs, subtly building on shared experiences or emerging interests to foster a sense of collective discovery. If they enthuse about their dream of visiting Iceland, and you've been, share your own story in a way that builds on their vision. "Oh, Iceland. When I was there, the hot springs were amazing. Have you looked into those?" If you both discover a shared love for farmers markets, riff on that together. "Isn't it the best? I always buy too much bread." These tiny reciprocal moments of overlap are the quiet foundation of blossoming chemistry.
Building those little bridges.
Exactly. Fifth, master the art of revisiting shared moments. If something genuinely funny, poignant, or emotionally resonant comes up earlier in the date, gracefully call it back later. You know, when you mentioned that squirrel incident earlier, I just pictured it again. This not only demonstrates incredible attentiveness, that you were genuinely listening, but it also creates a cohesive shared thread, making the whole experience feel more connected.
Shows you were paying attention.
Definitely. Sixth, don't ever fear silence. Instead, learn to use it purposefully. A pause isn't inherently awkward. It can be reflective. Let it sit for a moment. Sometimes people are just thinking or enjoying the quiet. If, however, the silence feels tense, offer a graceful, playful pivot. Okay, I've got another one for you. If your life had a theme song right now, what would it be? This injects playfulness and resets the mood.
Use silence or pivot playfully.
Finally, and crucially, adapt your conversation to the environment you're in. The setting profoundly influences what kind of conversation works best. In a quiet cafe, deeper topics might emerge easily. At a noisy bar, lean into more playful, punchy questions. On a walk in a park, let the surroundings guide the chat. Ever wonder what these old buildings used to be? Be present not just with your date, but with your shared surroundings.
Be present with the place, too. That makes sense.
So to summarize these key takeaways for transforming your first dates. First, really, ditch the script. Great conversation isn't about memorizing questions. It's about being present, curious, and open to discovery. Second, stay miles away from those emotional landmines. No exes, no trauma, no heavy drama too soon. Save those layers for later. Third, use open-ended, imaginative, and subtly revealing questions. They lead to authentic stories, not just facts. Fourth, master the art of balancing talking and listening. Show you truly care about what they say and what it means to them. And fifth, maybe most importantly, let connection unfold naturally. You're not there to win the conversation or secure a second date. You're there to explore chemistry, enjoy the interaction, and discover if there's a spark worth pursuing.
Because when that right spark truly hits, when that connection ignites, it's never, ever about having asked the perfect, most profound question, is it? It's about how their answer makes you feel, how it opens up a new part of their world to you, how it resonates within your own heart. What if the biggest secret to a truly great first date isn't about being perfectly prepared or having all the right answers, but about being genuinely present, deeply curious, and authentically open to the unexpected magic of human connection? You truly never know where that spontaneous question, that unexpected shared laugh, or even that comfortable silence might ultimately lead. If this deep dive gave you value, share it with someone you care about, hit subscribe, and leave a review. We're grateful you joined us for this deep dive.